On Something to Talk About today, we are in the middle of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we'll be talking to the people who know all about education and the support for screening, our friends from Guam Cancer Care. That is what is ahead on Something to Talk About. Well, welcome to Something to Talk About. Thank you for joining us. Really happy today to talk to our friends from Guam Cancer Care. Of course, we've got Karina Quito and we've got Nona Perez. You know both of these ladies. They're out and about all the time talking about cancer on Guam. And so we're so happy to have you. I think this is a first for us.
Yes,
this is the first for us, like in this element, because normally we're doing
We've
radio.
gone through a lot, yes.
We've done all the media.
Yeah.
But we're happy to have you and welcome. Thank you for
having us.
Awesome idea. Chorizo crisp cut fries. I did not know much about this until just now. And then we got the really cool combo platter with steak and chicken. So, feel free to dig in while we're eating. Thank you to Kings and all the wonderful staff here that always takes care of us on Something to Talk About. We got a lot coming up. Is this like, you guys have something happening all the time throughout the year, different events, but you have seasonal events 2 particular months of the year? Is that part of it? For cancer screening and for cancer education, but each of these ladies is a program manager, so you'll probably see them a lot out there in the media trying to get these points across. Can we start with cancer screening?
Right.
Yeah,
okay, that's my program. So for the month of October, we are going to be bringing out breast cancer awareness. Right. So we're going to kick it off with our annual wave over at the ITC intersection, and that will take place on Monday, October 2nd at 4 p.m. And we encourage everyone to come out and support the breast cancer patients who are committed to fight this and win it.
Okay. Well, screening is a big thing.
Yes,
education is a
big
huge thing also. But I mean, getting women to want to be compelled to go.
Right, and so my program, we are currently collaborating with 6 great clinics who are reaching out to the public, to the women, to spread the awareness of the importance of breast cancer screening. So the 6 clinics that we are currently working with is GRMC, SDA, MDX, the Guam Breast and Cervical Detection Program, and also FHP. So they are great clinics to work with us, and what happens is these women will go and get their mammograms done, and they will be entered to win a round-trip ticket sponsored by United Airlines, and we do the drawing on December 15th.
Wow, round-trip ticket to where?
Anywhere
in this region.
Yes.
Okay, in this region. Well, that's an incentive if nothing else is. What is it about? What is it about it that we are still trying to find, women in the nook and crannies of our community who have not yet been quite educated on, the dangers of not getting a mammogram or the importance of getting a mammogram, particularly if they come from a line of breast cancer in their families? What's the difficult part of it? What's the challenge?
Well, you know what? Once they're aware that breast cancer runs in their family, if they are proactive with their health and get their wellness screening once a year, and like whenever you go and your once a year screening, they give you an application and it says, does cancer run in your family? And once you check mark all those questions, your provider should be aware to say, okay, listen, I can see where this is going. Why don't you had your mammogram? Now, mammogram takes place 40 years and over, right? So any woman who's 40 years and older should go and get their mammograms checked. Unless breast cancer runs in your family, then you might want to bring it up to your provider, and your provider will actually probably get screened at the age of 35.
Is it cost prohibitive for people who don't maybe have insurance? Is there a way around that?
Well, it's part of their insurance program, depending on what insurance they have.
What if they don't have any?
Yeah. Well, if they don't have any, they can actually call the Guam Breast and Cervical Cancer Detention Program, and they can get help through them and through us.
I asked this question, I think, once before. With breast cancer and, being so prevalent, is it time that maybe we make that a free screening for just about everybody, that a mammogram should be a matter of public health?
In a perfect world, it should. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. What is that?
We need to reach out to the insurance companies.
Is it the insurance companies, or is it public health not having the resource? Well, I mean, private clinics could even offer these screenings, but I mean, everything costs something, granted, but the use of these machines, I'm wondering, are they so sensitive and so technologically advanced and so expensive that every use is a chargeable use?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know I'm stumping on that one because, like you said, in a perfect world, of course, as a screener and as an educator, you would probably want every woman to be able to walk in the door at least once a year, be given, the offer, for a free screening. But
That in a perfect world, that
in a
would
perfect
be.
world. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this imperfect world, Karina, maybe you could talk to me a bit about education. What is entailed in outreach, for example? What's entailed in this?
Well, one of the big programs I oversee is education in the schools. And this was actually inspired by our very first minor that registered with us at Guam Cancer Care. So that was our wake-up call that we need to expand our services, not just for cancer patients, but we need to go out into the community and educate our youth about cancer prevention. And believe it or not, something like really shocking that I see in the schools is when I ask the kids, how many of you have had a friend with cancer? Many hands come up, and as young as they are, they've already been affected. They've had friends, classmates who've been diagnosed with cancer, sometimes even passed away. And so this just makes us work harder in doing what we do. So right now we have our Kids for the Cure program, which is for elementary students, and EFIT Echo, which is for our high school students.
We're seeing more kids with cancer too, aren't we? That's another heartbreaker.
Yeah. And it's a wake up call, not just for and for these kids and their families too. That cancer doesn't just affect the older the older population. Anyone and everyone, no matter what age, what gender.
Yeah, cancer has no prejudice.
Yeah, that's and you're right though. I mean, it's difficult when you see these kids who know what the disease is. This is the disease of their lifetime, yes. And I mean, everybody knows somebody who has had cancer. That's a startling number, of people. So part of education is having some fun at getting people excited about the topic. I mean, as morose as it is, you have to build a campaign around with some entertainment, right? With some entertainment to get kids, to get people.
And they're interested because they've all been affected in one way or another. So whether they know it's a parent, a family member, a friend, a classmate, they all know it's one of the top killers here on our island, and they're aware. They want to learn more about it and know what they can do to decrease the risk.
What are the cancers? I mean, in order, what's the leading cancer? The leading killer.
Killer the most is lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
Lung for both men and women, and then for women it's cervical, and then for men it's prostate. But for both leading top cancer is lung. Here on island.
Wow. Do we have breast cancer numbers as well? Are those a little more easier because of screening? Is it easier to rope in?
It's the #1 most diagnosed cancer here on Guam. But as far as you know, in terms of mortality rates, it's lower.
It's lower. It's lower. And I mean, we've come a long way on that. In inspiring women, and may I say also men. What is the screening for men? Because there are men who have had breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
As unlikely as people would think that is, it does happen probably more than people realize.
Yes, I believe it's 1 in 1,000
Yeah,
breast cancer cases
yeah.
is a male.
Do we have many men who have had breast cancer on Guam that you know?
Here? No.
Yeah, okay. Where? Okay.
Not as
Is it a cancer that's there's distinctions on what kind of cancers happen in different jurisdictions or different places? Is it environmental? Is it?
That we don't know.
That's-
That's where we what we don't have here on Guam is the research.
Right.
Yeah,
into
the component
cancer.
for that. Yeah.
Exactly.
To pinpointing what exactly is causing these
Yeah.
cancer cases.
Well, believe it or not, like I said, there sometimes entertainment is the way to get to this topic with 5Ks and 2Ks and other types of projects. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about some of the more exciting
What's coming up.
community programs and projects that are out there to help educate you and maybe motivate you to get some screening. This is something to talk about, and we're eating at King's.
Now.
We'll be right back. We're back with Karina Quito and with Nona Perez from Guam Cancer Care, talking about some of the events that'll take place to call attention to awareness and call for screening and education. You guys, of course, we got the big wave encouraging people to come out in pink. Pink is the color, right? Is pink the color for breast cancer?
Yes.
Okay, so because each cancer has its own distinctive color, right? Okay. Oh yeah, where's the poster that has the colors? Is this one? Oh, it's covered. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we could do something about that. But the wave is the big thing. You also hear. I'm looking at this about the screening tips. Tell me about it. If you're 20,
You do your breast exams. So starting at 20, you can start learning how to do breast exams, and I believe they teach you that at school as well, and also health classes. Now at 40 is when you'll get your mammogram.
Okay.
So 2040.
2040. It's interesting because if they teach this in school and teenagers are aware before they turn 20, obviously, right? How early is it appropriate, or where is the age appropriate to teach girls about a self-exams?
Well, I believe by the age of 21, you will get your first Pap smear, and I think that comes all together. So Pap smear and breast exam.
Oh, okay. But but they teach this. I mean, did they teach the actual self exams in the classroom? Okay, I should probably talk to the nurse about how that conversation goes.
That would be teaching.
But how early into this kid's high school year do they do that? Into the school year?
I had kids in high school. Actually, I have daughters in middle school, and they have not learned the proper way of self-exam, but they are learning about upcoming exams that they would have to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
think it's during their screening
Yeah.
with the provider is probably they can.
when you're saying like when your daughter goes to the doctor for their very first time, kind of thing, right? When they go to the pediatrician at a middle age, a developing child, whatever the developing child's, where they are in that stage.
21 when they get their first Pap smear.
Okay.
And then they'll get the breast
They'll learn how to do
exam.
it. Is it necessary to show them sooner? Is it too much education?
I guess it all depends on the development of the child.
Yeah.
It's never too early though to learn.
It's just the educational part of it, yeah. I mean, they have to be aware that, yeah. I mean, it's just...
We had one breast cancer survivor do presentation at the schools, and she had self-detected a lump in her breast.
Really?
And she made a comment to the kids about because she had learned when she was in high school how to do a self-breast exam that she kept that lesson with her all throughout her life, and then it hit her in the 30s. And as she continued, she found the lump. So she's telling the kids education is really important, and you take what you learn, you adopt them into your lifestyle and lead a healthier life.
Do you think that there's any differences in some of our island cultures in the way this topic is presented? Because in some cultures, this kind of conversation is taboo.
Probably.
And it makes it a little bit harder, to have a larger, have a larger conversation outside of a doctor's office, that maybe, I don't know. I think these are probably topics that I can talk to a nurse about, because a lot of this stuff is so interesting, because we're talking about younger kids, younger members of our community, being diagnosed at younger ages, and that's really, it's hard to swallow. It really is hard to swallow. All right, so we have a Strides for the Cure. That's the big run, 2K, 5K. Have you really been doing this for 16 years? Is this the one that started originally? The first one that's with Donna Baker, Israel? That Day of Israel?
We adopted the run as well as the Kids for the Cure program from them a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So we've taken over. We're looking forward to it, October 7th at the Beach Bar in Tumon. So and all the proceeds raised goes towards our education program, Kids for the Cure.
That was a big deal for Donna Baker back in the day when she started this, and it was her and Jude's idea to bring this education campaign into the schools and provide what? Do you provide materials, or what do the costs go to?
We provide teacher training. We provide them with all the classroom materials that they need, their curriculum, the student booklets, classroom models for the kids, posters. And then we also we hire coaches. We have Kids for the Cure coaches that visit each class, work with them every week for the 8-week duration of the program, and teach them about exercise, the proper way to do certain exercises, and why it's so important. So it's really interesting to see the kids on day one, and have no clue in there, but they really want to learn. And then as they work with the coaches, come the last day, you can really see the improvement.
It's really amazing, because I think a lot of these kids are so knowledgeable about it that they go home and tell their parents about it.
And that's the thing.
That's where you get them.
That's where we really want them to, is to take all this in and bring it home with them.
Yeah.
Tell their parents, about alcohol, about smoking, all the issues that come with it in their health.
And diet. Diet. Granted, some of these foods must be had in moderation.
Yeah, right.
There's vegetables here. We want to point that out. It has to have vegetables, but known as carrots and bell peppers and the like. Yeah. Diet and exercise is a huge thing, but the actual 2K, 5K is on the 7th of October. That's at Gun Beach. How much is it to start? And you can go by groups, right?
$15 per person, a group of 4 for $48, or $20 on race day.
Okay. And these are well attended, though.
Oh yeah, we have. We're doing something a little different. So when you register, you actually can pick up your race shirt at registration.
Right.
And we're giving away 1,500 Diddy bags at the event to
Wow.
the finishers. And we have over $18,000 worth of raffle prizes that we'll be drawing.
Jeez. And that's coming in from a number, obviously there's a number of sponsors that you have here for the Diddy bag. And more importantly, the proceeds go for Kids for the Cure, which is a cancer education and physical fitness program that they bring directly into the classroom for kids to have a better idea as to these kinds of diseases that they see around them, and ways to avoid.
I want to say
this.
It's such a great program. So I've been with Guam Cancer Care for 3 years now, and on my first year I was able to go with Karina on one of the competitions at the Challenge Day. And it was so amazing because these kids really put their best foot forward. And when every child gets an award, and just putting the award on them, it speaks numbers, because they're ear to ear smile, and they have the winners really go far and beyond. Right?
Yeah.
They start off not knowing how to jump rope, and then at the end they are jump roping winners.
Yeah,
Right?
and so the idea is even to get kids to learn how to maneuver these little exercises that they don't know much about. Yeah, that's funny, because the idea behind having children exercise early in life is really hard if you have parents who don't exercise
So
at
we
all.
meet kids all the time like who they've never attempted a sit-up or a push-up or a mile at that. And
Or skipping.
yeah, and so
My daughter didn't know how to skip. I had to take her to a park and teach her how to skip. She was so embarrassed. But skipping was a hard thing for her. But yeah, these are tasks that they learn how to do.
but our coaches are amazing. They work really great with the kids, and so the kids love them. They're like rock stars.
Oh, really? Yeah. So how long's the actual program? How long?
It's 8 weeks.
Okay.
Our goal is to get to every public elementary school on island. So we're at 17. We have 8 more schools to go before we make a full rotation, and then we start back up again.
If you're in 18 of the schools, you mean that not all 41 of the schools have a program? Does it depend on the amount of money that you have that you can
Well, we
put the
only
program?
implemented. We're only in the elementary schools. So
Oh, I see.
that's 25.
Okay.
We're at 7. We completed the 17th school.
Okay.
We have 8. So I'm hoping to go be at 4 schools this school year,
Okay.
and then another 4 next.
Yes. All right. Awesome. Well, you can get the bibs where?
You can register at Hornet, Guam Cancer Care, DNA Evolution, Run Guam, or online at eventbrite.com.
Oh, eventbrite.com. That's always a great place. You can get a ditty bag if you're one of the first 1,500. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And do you get 1,500 people on this run? Oh yeah, easy.
yeah,
It's like one of the bigger ones. Yeah. Okay. They will get 15. Yeah, they will. It's Strides for the Cure TK 5K. That's the fun walk coming up on Saturday, the October 7th. This coming Saturday. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. I hope that it's my pleasure. It's always my pleasure that you guys come in. Thanks a lot for joining us on such notice.
Anytime.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the radio.